Hello guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. I'm excited because it's a very big Q&A. I was going to do one over on my stories, but I feel like a Q&A on here, I can just go a lot more in depth. I can give you full details. I get so worried about like over spamming people. I think I overthink that kind of stuff way too much. I'm like, I don't want to be annoying and post those as stories. So on here, I'm going to have a little catch up. You guys have asked me some questions which I'm super excited to answer. Thank you so much for joining because I just love YouTube so much. I feel like a lot closer to you guys and I can like show this side of me a lot more, which obviously on Instagram through videos you can't really, I don't talk that much. There's a lot of audio on my videos, so it's so nice as I am such an oversharer. So it is 12:30, I am ready to give my biggest life secrets away. I've seen a lot on food, recovery, body acceptance, all of that. So I can't wait to get into all of those details. Obviously guys, if you do need medical help, professional help, this is just my advice. It's on my own journey and it's what's helped me. So please do take everything with a pinch of salt because everyone is so different and I wouldn't want you to think, oh, if I do that, I don't need to get professional help. But honestly, I've had a lot of professional help myself to get to the place I am now. And yeah, I just obviously want to put that disclaimer out there because I'm not a therapist. I'm just gonna do a chunk of the recovery ones, so like they're all in one neat little place. Most important tips for getting your period back. You have to accept the facts that you are going to have to gain weight. Not only are you gonna have to gain weight, you can't just gain muscle, you have to gain muscle and fat. And I think there's a big thing in the like fitness community, of like girls obviously under eating, losing their period, getting into weight training, which is amazing and super empowering, but I don't want you guys to think that you can just gain muscle because guys, you need to gain both. And actually it's made me a lot heavier than I was before I ever had my eating disorder because I have muscle, like same amount of body fat and muscle as well. So I think it's really important to accept the fact that you do have to gain fat because that is what your body needs. It needs body fat. It will go to places which may feel uncomfortable at first, but it's about pushing through those. But a big thing for me was completely cutting out any high intensity exercise. So think running, think anything that's going to really raise your heart rate, and also just completely cutting back on the amount of exercise I was doing. I actually originally did no exercise at all and then slowly started to introduce it back in because it basically like increases the levels of cortisol in your body, and this is what's going to stop your period from happening. So I would say cut back to like no sessions, like, you know, some may have to, everyone's journey is different, completely cut out exercise, or do things like replace with gentle walks, with yoga, maybe with a few weight training sessions in there. But in terms of running and stuff, if you don't have a period, you really should not be running because you're only like driving yourself into the ground more. I think it's focusing on fats in your diet. So fats with like omega-3, so like salmon, avocado, olive oil, all of these sorts of things, like those sort of healthier fats, incorporate them, like trying to make sure you have a source of that at every meal. I think people are scared of fats, but actually they are what are going to help your hormones so much. I can't even describe in regards to getting the cortisol levels down, like bringing your anxiety levels down. So things like incorporating meditation, journaling. You basically want to get your body into a as relaxed state as possible. Yeah, I said about gaining fat, but gaining weight, like it took me overshooting my weight slightly in order for it to come back, and that kind of then settled down and balanced out. But what I would say generally with recovery is like, don't see your goal weight as like a range and think I need to go a bit over, just so you don't want to be on the cusp of like your healthy weight, because then if anything happened, if you got sick, if something happened and you were to fall back, you basically want to fully regain your body's trust and be like, we're not going to go back there, like we are so fine and like healthy and have a healthy amount of body fat. So I trust the process as well and just give it time. And just make sure, like, yes, get your period back, but make sure you have 3 consistent periods. Like, as I think sometimes when the period comes back, people are like, oh, I can like completely let go, I can start running. No, like you need to have these consistent periods in order for you to be like, okay, I have like a fully functioning normal hormone. I apologize because I have had a cold, so I'm like sniffing and I hope it's not too gross. Okay, any tips on how to believe in myself more, never feel worthy enough to? Firstly, I am so sorry that you feel that way because it is horrible and I have been there. It's actually, I think I can trace a lot of my issues and mental health issues from that, not feeling worthy enough and always wanting to be someone else. Guys, I had this realization, okay? This could sound so weird. I was lying in bed last night and I was like focusing on my breathing, like trying to like calm it down. And I had, you know, when you like have a trauma moment just emerge, it's not so much a trauma, but it's something I guess has been like, it was like unlocked in my brain. I remember from the age of 6 or 7 years old, this is how badly I wanted to be like someone else and not me, which honestly made me want to cry. I would try and like walk the same way as other people, breathe the same way as other people. I would get like hyper fixated on like, I want to be like her, and I would be like everything I would do to be like them, like eat the same way as them. I don't know how to describe it. It was like, obviously I was so little, I didn't understand genetics, but I thought if I did all of this, maybe I would look like her and be like her. And honestly, I was like, I had this moment in bed and I was like, oh my God, to have that thought at such a young age, to think I'm not worthy enough, she's more worthy than me, I must be like her. Like, I was like, okay, I need to I need to book in with a therapist again and really unpack that, because it just made me so sad. And yeah, I think that's been then a running theme throughout my life. Obviously, I've worked on it so much now. But what I really would say is, when we strip ourselves back as human beings, we're all the same. Strip back, we are all the same. What then makes the next person any different to you? You are fully as capable of achieving all that they have achieved as well, when you put your mind to it and when you believe in yourself. Just thinking that way, we are all equal. Like, we are all the same at the end of the day when you take everything away. Why would your worth be any different to the next person's? And I think just having that in your head, and things like, I think really exploring into like going down the avenue of like my likes, my dislikes. There's this exercise that I'd do and it would be like really niche specific things I like. Like, it'd be like, okay, I love walking, but where specifically do I love walking? I love walking along the river where I can see a view of a city and all these things, and leaning into that and leaning into like what makes you individual and different from the next person with like your hobbies, your activities and things like that. I think that then makes you more grounded in yourself in a way. Sorry, I think this is such a ramble, but it's been a long process for me. But you are worthy. Every single person watching this, I'm telling you, you are so worthy of all the love and everything and more, and you are so capable of doing anything you put your mind to. The only thing stopping you is your mindset. So when you take this approach of like, what is stopping me? Like, when you see someone inspirational or something that they're doing that you want to do, think, what is actually holding me back? Like, what at the end of the day is any different between them and me? So whatever that thing is, go do it. Did your eating disorder affect your love life? Yes. It was really sad, actually. I think it took up a lot of my brain space, and looking back, I don't think I was able to give the same love because so much of my energy was fixated on that. But I also think I think it was more like when I was entrenched in my eating disorder, I feel like I had less of a backbone in myself, and as a result it made me the biggest people pleaser, pushover. I would never stand up for myself in relationships. And also, obviously, guys, we're not even going to talk about the sex drive in that situation when you're under eating, but was lost in myself. And I think it then meant that I morphed into the person that I was with. At the same time, I wasn't able to fully give the same love that I can give now because I have that love for myself. Recovered, I am honestly a different person. I am empathetic. I just express emotions so much more, so much better. I now stand up for myself in relationships if I don't agree with something or something like that. Like, I'm a healthy, normal person in a relationship rather than people pleasing. I've recovered from my eating disorder, but sometimes can still feel the guilt. Any tips? What I would say is, you recover from an eating disorder, it is still normal to have some food guilt thoughts, to have thoughts of like, oh, I'm eating a bit more than them. Oh, like, I'm a bit bloated today. You're always going to have those thoughts. It's about how you respond to them. And I would say, oh my God, like, you get those thoughts, like, they consumed my everyday, whereas now it's like it'd be a fleeting thought and I'd just brush it off. I think the power of rationalization and just being able to rationalize in your brain, what I would say is, like, basically having gained weight, like, your brain is, a lot of science behind this, like, your brain is being fueled better. You're able to rationalize your thoughts and thought processes, a lot more. Gained weight, I am able to rationalize, like, well, that person's eating more. Oh yes, but we all have different needs and you don't know what they ate earlier and things like that. Like, I don't even have to have those thoughts anymore because it's almost like I don't even need to tell myself that. So what I would say is, like, initially it can be a struggle dealing with that. And it's about, the key thing is you don't give in, you reassure yourself, you tell yourself it'll be okay. Every single time you do that, that voice is getting quieter and quieter and quieter. And then one day you'll be where I am. Yes, you may have that thought, but it'll be a fleeting thought and you won't even give attention to it. With time, it improves so much, and it's all about training your brain how to respond to. Promise you, it gets so much better. If you're trying to recover from an undiagnosed eating disorder, what would be the first steps? Open up to someone and create a support system. I cannot describe to you how helpful it is to have other people hold you accountable and just create a really strong support network. And I think one regret I do have, like, in my disorder recovery is I would try and hide my eating disorder. I was so ashamed of it, even though it was obvious I had one. You open up those conversations with your friends, with your family members. They can help you. They can also help you rationalize your thoughts, but also just help you to make sure, like, you're eating enough and things like that. So I'd say 100% telling people and then almost coming up with a plan from that, like, how can they hold you accountable? Making sure, what I would say is, like, in recovery, I was in recovery, quasi-recovery, shall we say, for so long. Like, I was like, God, I'm eating so much more. I was literally having a snack extra a day. Guys, you have to eat so much more over a very, very long period of time in order to gain weight. If I learned one thing from my disorder recovery is, it takes a long time to gain weight. And I think I wish I had done it sooner, but it means saying yes to a lot more than just an extra snack. Thinking of bulking out your meals, like, you need to be having like 20% plus more, like 25% more than what you are on currently. And that's only if you're maintaining at that. Like, if you're in a deficit, you need like 50% more. So I think definitely it takes so much more food than you think. So perhaps coming up with a plan of action to, again, hold yourself accountable, being like, okay, following like almost a vague meal plan in your head, or like using meal prompts to be like, okay, I'm gonna have a morning snack now, lunch now, afternoon snack now. Okay, tell us about the day / moment you chose recovery. It actually makes me so happy. It's so wholesome. Into lockdown and went home. And I think I was like trying to do a HIIT workout or something. And my mum came in and was like, what are you doing? And I think it was then that I was like, what am I doing? And I remember so well in that moment. I think that was a real turning point for me. My parents were so supportive. I said to her, I want you to give me your full trust in this, because I genuinely can now see how much this is ruining my life. And I just want it over with. I'm about to graduate uni. I want to move to London. I want to just be free from this. So I think it was that moment where I kind of was like, there is something wrong. Like, why am I feeling the need to do this HIIT workout when like I actually need to gain weight? And I think it was that moment of like then her giving me the full trust to just take the reins. And it was literally from that moment, did not look back. Guys, it has to come from you. Like, for so long, it was my parents pushing for it and things like that. And I think I genuinely wasn't, deep down, I wasn't on board with it. It was only when I then decided, no, actually, I'm going to do this and I'm going to prove to myself that I can. So I guess I had that moment where she gave me the full trust, and I wanted to show her that she could give me a full trust. So yeah, it was wait, I got an online coach, and that made me throw myself in even more, because she was like, you need to be eating this, like, if you're exercising. And I just did everything she told me to, no questions, nothing. I was fully like, I just want to get better. I think it was like I was on the journey up, and I was starting to see all the benefits that like weight gain and getting my life back was doing. And yeah, I just 3,000 plus calories was on the go. Where did I go to uni? Where and what did you study? So undergraduate at Durham University, where I studied history, and then I ended up doing my dissertation actually, and this is so niche, but I ended up doing it like tying in like the Russian Revolution with art, and I became really fascinated at seeing history through the eyes of artists. And so then I actually wanted to go into the art world and work at an art auction house. So I then did a master's in London at the Courtauld, which is a specific art and art history university, and I did art history there. So an MA in art history and a BA in history. Favorite cuisine. My mum, she's actually a quarter Indian. So guys, I literally like was never brought up on British food. Like, my controversial opinion is British food sucks. I hate it. Roasts, overrated. Sorry, I may get cancelled for this. Please don't hate me. But my mum cooked a lot of like noodles, like she got a lot of Indian food, curries, Thai food. So I would say my favorite cuisine, Japanese, Thai or Italian. I just love a good pasta. How are you? I don't want to jinx it, but I'm in a really, really good place mentally. Like, I think this time last year, oh my God, nearly 2 years ago now, was when I really started to struggle with my mental health stuff. And that was when I got proper help and a lot of deep diving. And, you know, in the moment, it didn't feel like anything was working. But now I can fully say, like, oh my God, I can rationalize so much better. I am honestly in the best headspace I've ever been. And it's been like this for a good 6 to 8 months now, maybe even more. And it's just, yeah, it's crazy to look back, because I think sometimes I now take it for granted that every day seems pretty good. But this is like, to anyone that's struggling, like, I've been there. And obviously I still get bad days, don't get me wrong, or like little few periods of like days, but you know, it was at a point where I was like having to go back to my family home and things like that. I am not in that place anymore, and it just feels so freeing to say that. So are you living alone or with friends or with parents? So I was living alone for a good year and a half. I'm still in the same flat, but my boyfriend moved in like a month ago. So currently not living alone anymore, which, yeah, it's actually really nice. I think initially I was like, oh my God, I'm so used to my own company now, but I've been loving it. And yeah. Another question, how much do I eat out? Guys, I actually eat out probably like minimum 1 to 2 times a week. I just end up always like on the weekend probably once, and then once during the week, but then sometimes there'll be way more. Sometimes when I go away it's every day. Obviously it changes so much, but I think as well, like, again, something I'm massively used to fear, whereas it's now something I really look forward to. It's more like I don't have to cook and I get a lovely meal out. I've like trying loads of different restaurants and things like that, which brings me actually onto another question, because one of you guys asked top lunch and dinner recommendations in London pre-concert. So London is a great place for a pre-theatre menu. If you're going for lunch or like an early dinner before a show, you can get such a good deal. So whenever we're going to the theatre, I'll take this as an advantage to go to like the bougier restaurants, because they literally will do like £20-30 for like 2-3 courses. So I'd say Covent Garden's a really good place for that. So we went to Palm Court Brasserie, which was a place that was on my bucket list of restaurants for so long. And so I think I'm gonna butcher the name so much. Cuba de Asia. It's like this Asian restaurant in a hotel. They do, again, pre-theatre menu, but this seared tuna was unbelievable. Like, would you ever get breast surgery? Guys, I'm not gonna lie. Yes, I would. Something that I've wanted to get done since I was about 16 years old. I'm not particularly gifted, which surprises me because I do like have a lot of muscle and I hold my weight on my upper body, but not here. So if I do get it done, let me tell you, it's been thought about for 10 years in the making. Yes, and I genuinely think, because I used to think, oh, like I always used to judge people that got stuff done, and I've learned that like at the end of the day, people can do whatever they want that makes them happy, and I think that is now my approach to life. Like I'm just like, whatever makes them happy, like I just stay in my own lane. If it makes them happy, if it brings them more joy, absolutely go do it. The only thing I wouldn't get anything else done. That is literally, it's so funny that that specifically is what someone's asked. That is the one thing I would get done. Yeah, maybe, but as I said, if it happens, let me tell you, it's been thought out. What would you do if you like someone but you don't know if they could ever love you back? Now, if this is literally stemming from a place of insecurity, get rid of that, because why the potential? If they're single, not seeing anyone, you know, like put some feelers out, like maybe message them or like talk to them a bit more, gauge the vibe. Like I would say go purely off vibes. However, I would think about the losses. Like if this is a best friend that we're talking about, is it worth losing a friendship over? I've dated best friends in the past, and I would say obviously then led to like relationships or whatever, but then it ends and then you've lost a relationship and a friendship. So I would think if it's a friend, think harder about that. But if you've got nothing to lose, girl, what is stopping you? The hottest thing is confidence, genuinely. So just talk to them a bit more, gauge the vibe, and then see, like maybe propose you guys hang out, or something like that. Do I have any piercings or tattoos? So no tattoos. I am tattoo-free gal. Piercings, well, I'm not going to show you one of my piercings because that wouldn't be allowed on YouTube. But I have 3 here. I have 1 here, but it's not in. Guys, I got this cartilage done when I was 16. I definitely was underage. Like I was not allowed to get it done. It was at a very dodgy place. It gave me severe pain for about a year, quite a few. Then I have another second, so I have 3 down here, 2 here, and then I have, I think this is like a rook or a nook one. I have one, oh, I'm only wearing a bra under that. I have one right here on one, because I was like, guys, this is what I mean by an overshare. I'm just like fully chatting about this to you, because I didn't want to commit that much to do. Also, it's painful. It was so painful. I genuinely don't know. I mean, hats off to you if you have 2. To go through the one and then to know that they were also going to do it on the second one, absolutely not. But I got it. I love it. It's so cute in like little tops and things like that. So yeah, no regrets on my piercings. Love them all. Training question: what does it mean if it feels like you're about to puke mid-session, specifically leg day? Okay, I've actually had this a few times, and I worked out it was when I was having too much caffeine. So I'd maybe look at your caffeine intake and what you're eating before. Are you eating close to your sessions? Because what I'll try and do is eat like a big meal, like 2 hours before or 3 hours before, and then I'll have like a snack, but like an easily digestible snack, so like a couple of rice cakes or something like that. And look at your caffeine intake. I now take a pre-workout that is like a lot slower release caffeine, so I found that has helped masses. It was when I was taking like my boyfriend's stuff, which is like really strong, and I don't know what goes into that, and it gave me anxiety and made me feel nauseous. So yeah. Okay, how to get back into the gym, no motivation. This was me a few months ago. Genuinely, I changed up my training. I would say that has massively got my motivation back. I changed from like being like, because okay, I was like weight training and stuff like that, but I do think if you just weight train, it can sometimes get a bit aesthetics focused and things like that. Nothing wrong with that, but obviously that's not my vibe. It didn't really feel like it aligned with me as much anymore, as I'm obviously less key on that, more on I just want to be the fittest, healthiest version of myself. So I changed up my training. I actually like basically halved my weight training sessions. Now I do half weights, half running, and I do 2 runs a week, 3 weight training sessions. Has honestly changed the game for me. I feel like I go to the gym because I'm doing less sessions. Like I go to the gym so motivated, wanting to smash my sessions rather than feeling like I'm having to drag myself there. And I'm enjoying having the variety of training. So I'd say that. Also maybe signing yourself up to like High Rocks, a little race. Having something like that to work towards can be really helpful, but like fitness doesn't have to be aesthetics focused. And I would say having taken that away and out of the equation for me, like just wanting to, obviously I'm building muscle and I'm eating like consciously eating more to do that, but also to fuel my training and more like look at it from that perspective. So do you track? So if I don't have a goal, like if I'm not trying to eat in a surplus or anything, I won't track. I'll just eat intuitively. So I know that I can do like both. I track if I have a specific goal, or like right now I'm wanting to make sure I'm eating enough, so I'm like eating in a surplus, so I'll track, but I'll like be very flexible with it, like not track quite a few days, and more just track to make sure I'm eating enough, if that makes sense. It's what I've really encouraged in my coaching for people that do track, is like flexibility with it, and like not having to track everything as you go on, like more like you can track at the end of the day, or be like track like twice a week to be like, oh, am I making sure I'm eating enough? But so now I'm kind of in this like flexible sometimes to make sure I'm eating enough. I think this is quite a nice one to end on, and that is my 5-year plan. Guys, I don't know. No, when I think about it, 5 years, what, so 30. It will be 25 to 30. That's so gross. I'm nearer to 30 than I am to 20. I really want to go down the presenting route. Okay, so obviously I'm doing these lives with Gymshark and I've done a lot of radio shows. My passions have lied a lot in radio and public speaking. So I would absolutely love to explore that avenue more. Maybe you'll see me on your screens more, and go down that route. I also would love to get some legislation passed in Parliament, either to something to do with BMI within the NHS, making a change in that way, or making a change when it comes to photo editing. I do think that would be a lot harder, but I would absolutely love to just do something that will actually help like the whole country. That is a big goal of mine. I also, well, we have some exciting stuff coming up in the next few months planned, so hopefully we'll still be doing those. Maybe lead to bigger things, maybe more worldwide. And I think I would have loved to have bought a house by then, like my house in London. Have done a lot of traveling that time, and I potentially would love to do something product, like have released some kind of product. Just continue to keep helping others and really just keep going with my coaching and producing the content I produce, which I hope you guys enjoy. Yeah. This time, love to have lived in New York for 6 months. Fast it for me. Anyway, that brings us to the end of the Q&A. Sorry I wasn't able to answer all the questions, but I hope I kind of tried to choose ones that there were quite a few of similar strands. But this has been so much fun. Thank you for joining me. I love you all so much. I genuinely thank you for being here. I appreciate you every single day, and you're like my besties. And yeah, if you haven't already, don't forget to like and subscribe. And guys, I have so many exciting videos coming up in the next few weeks that I cannot say right now, but they will be coming and I can't wait to share them with you. Have the best week, go smash it, and see you next week. Bye.